I got off the Ozempic and immediately I gained back 20 pounds. Like that.
If you're currently taking a GLP-1 drug or you are thinking about going on them, I would watch this video before you do, or if you are taking them right now. Gabriel Iglesias, also known as Fluffy, says it's scary how he immediately gained back 20 pounds after quitting Ozempic. The comedian actor 49 said he took the weight loss medication for 5 months. This is an article where we see exactly what Fluffy found out about taking Ozempic and what happens when you quit it without ever actually understanding much about nutrition. Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias is detailing how scary his Ozempic experience has been. The longtime comedian and actor 49 appeared on March 11 episode of Shannon Sharp's Club Shay Shay podcast and opened up about taking Ozempic, an FDA-approved prescription medication for people with type 2 diabetes. I got on Ozempic for 5 months, he said, not specifying when he took the weekly injections. Ozempic works. Ozempic is scary how good it works because it does curb your appetite to a place where you're like, do I even need food? Seriously? Iglesias said he started to lose weight, but he didn't like that he was losing more muscle than fat, which ultimately led to his decision to quit. I got off Ozempic and immediately gained back 20 pounds just like that. The Netflix star said, snapping his fingers, it is scary how quickly you regain the weight. On the show, Iglesias, who recalled weighing about 440 pounds at his heaviest, explained that he wants to recommit to his weight loss journey. I really want to lose weight, he said. It's a serious thing. Sharp then asked Iglesias if he would be worried from the reaction from his fan base if he were to lose a lot of weight, considering his nickname is Fluffy. The comedian shared a past conversation that he had with the radio host Big Boy about his weight loss journey that put a lot of things into perspective for him. I said, hey man, how did things change for you once you lost all that weight? You weren't Big Boy anymore, he goes. No, I wasn't Big Boy anymore, but I was alive. And that's the most important thing, Iglesias recalled. So if I lose 100 or whatever the amount of weight is, yeah, I might not be fluffy, but man, I'm going to be alive. He continued, and I think my fans would rather see me alive and being able to function and do what I do rather than be the big guy. So there's a lot to dissect there. First of all, I quite like Fluffy. I've actually gone to see him live when he came here to Adelaide. He was pretty funny. The issue isn't Ozempic really. If Fluffy lost a lot of muscle while he was on Ozempic, it's because he wasn't strength training and he probably wasn't hitting his protein goals. Now, if you are trying to lose weight, you should be in a calorie deficit, which is what things like Ozempic help you do because they curb your hunger so low that you don't feel like eating, you naturally end up being in a deficit. However, if you are just not eating a lot of food, chances are you're also not eating a lot of protein. And if you are not going to the gym, which is very likely for a lot of people who take GLP-1s because you're tired because you're not eating very much, and you are also not hitting your protein targets, chances are then, yes, you will lose a lot of muscle. But those things can be prevented by ensuring that you are trying to follow a gym routine at least 2 to 3 times a week and ensuring that you are hitting your protein targets. Now, for most people, if you are going to the gym and you want to build muscle or maintain your muscle, you want to be hitting at least 2 times your body weight in protein. Now, someone like Fluffy, it makes sense why he lost so much weight, especially muscle-wise, because someone like him, if he was 440 pounds, which if my math is correct, is close to 200 kilos, he would be needing to be eating about like 400 grams of protein, which is a lot of protein. So what that means is that if he was just not eating a lot of food, there is no way he was getting 400 grams of protein. Like, you need to make it your full-time job to hit 400 grams of protein. Like, most bodybuilders probably aren't even hitting that. So someone like him, he would need to really put an effort to make sure that his body is getting the amount of protein that he needs to not only maintain muscle, but actually build muscle, because you can build muscle while you're taking these drugs if you are eating in a calorie deficit, but also hitting your protein targets, because you can be smart about the amount of food you're eating instead of just going off your hunger and just not eating at all, because more often than not, that's going to lead exactly to what happened to him, which is regaining a lot of weight as soon as he's off the drugs, but also realizing that he's also lost whatever muscle he had before even going on these drugs in the first place. And one thing that you might not understand out there is that muscle is really hard to build. It might be harder to build muscle than it is to lose weight. I know that's a debatable and controversial thing to say, but in my experience of 15 years in this industry, I've noticed that people are more likely to lose weight than they are to actually put on a ton of muscle. Because to put on muscle, you need to work day in, day out, week in, week out, and you have to be consistent with hitting your protein goals, which for most people is pretty challenging. So if you don't want the same thing to happen to Fluffy, to happen to you, if you are trying to lose weight, ensure that you understand and you learn a little bit about nutrition. My channel here is a great place to start, but understand how to put yourself in a calorie deficit. Understand that your calorie deficit doesn't have to be extreme, it just has to be minimal to actually help you see some results. And understand that tracking your food is not obsessive, it actually teaches you how you can actually fit some of your favorite foods into your diet while still losing weight. Now, if you're the kind of person who doesn't know what your calorie deficit should be you can utilize my free calorie calculator. The link is below. And if you're the kind of person who needs a bit of support when it comes to your weight loss, then you can apply for my online coaching in the link below as well. Also, while we're at it, if you enjoyed this content, then you might also enjoy what Oprah has to say about weight training. Check out this video right here.